excuse me, I've got a bit of a chest infection. I wanted to record this video to say a little bit about me, what I've gone through and why I joined Younique. So I do apologise if I do keep coughing. So I'm Laura, I am 28 years old, I live in the UK, in a little town, well, big town, little town, bit of both. I have a little boy who's nearly 4, and I just wanted to basically say that life is too short, for one, and do what makes you happy, which is what I do now. So, why I joined Younique, I'll come to that bit in a bit, but from the age of 14 till I was 21, I've worked in, I did hairdressing for about 3 or 4 years. Then I went from hairdressing to work in the fair in Pleasureland, it was called. Then from the fair to the cinema. Then the cinema to Butlins, which was always a dream job for me. Butlins, I've been going since I was a little girl, and it was my dream job to work there. So when I got the job there, I was over the moon. I was only 19 at the time, and I wasn't there very long. I got a bit homesick because it was like 4 or 5 hours away from all my friends and family. But it was an amazing time, experience, and I would definitely do that one again. I wrote all this down, by the way. I wrote it all last night. So, from Butlins, I then came home, then I started working in retail, in Woolworths, which is now closed down. Then a small shop called Evans, which is a clothes shop for plus size women. So, in 2008, I kept getting quite ill, like chest infections and stuff, and I was diagnosed with asthma. Then, as time went on, January 2009, I was getting more and more asthma attacks. I don't think the shop that I worked in helped, obviously with it being closed and it was only small, it was quite dusty and it wasn't nice. So the doctor had signed me off, saying that I was unfit to work because of how many asthma attacks I was actually having. So as months went by, I had to go into work for an interview, like a back to work interview, but then I was actually let go because I didn't know when I was allowed back to work. That was down to my doctor. So yes, that was my last job at Evans. As the months went by, it came to October 2009, which is coming up to 7 years now, and this bit I'm probably going to get emotional about. Sorry. The 10th of October, 2009, I was at my friend's house and I was feeling really, really ill. It was like a chest infection and flu, that's what it felt like, really, really bad flu, and I was very cold, I was shaky, it was just not nice. So went home that afternoon and my mum rang the GP, who then came out to the house, which you don't usually do. You don't like going out, these GPs, but he came to the house straight away, checked me over and rang an ambulance, which I was always panicky going to hospital because I didn't like needles or anything back then. Kind of used to that one now though. So as I got to the hospital, we were sat in the ambulance for quite a while, and the paramedic came back in and explained that we had to wait for a side room as they suspect that it could be swine flu. This is when it first came out, swine flu. So I wasn't allowed into the hospital till a side room came available. So went in, and after the first night, I remember it really, really well. I was in A&E for hours and hours and hours in this horrible side room. Me and my mum having loads of tests, blood tests, loads of other different tests, everything. Finally went onto a ward, and the last thing I remembered was actually eating mashed potato. That was the last thing I remembered. Sorry. That morning, early hours in the morning, my mum received a phone call. Sorry. She received a phone call to say that I'd been rushed into intensive care and I was on life support. I do apologise for crying. So, from that day, family and friends were going through like the worst time of their lives. I didn't know any of this because I wasn't with it. I was on life support, so I didn't know what was going on. Oh, I'm a wreck. I need some tissue. 12 days I was on life support for. It was touch and go. Apparently on a Sunday, everybody got called into the hospital and they'd said that, you know, I'm not getting any better and it wasn't looking good, basically. But someone was watching over me and I finally woke up. Also, while I was on intensive care on the life support, my best friend Rob had made a CD with all my favourite songs on, which had Kings of Leon on it, Sex on Fire. Woo. And apparently the nurses were playing it, my family were playing it in the room that I was in, constantly on repeat. And I woke up. It was a very long month I was in hospital for. I was paralysed from shoulder downwards. I had to learn how to walk again. I had to learn how to, you know, use my knife and fork. Basically, I had to learn how to do everything again. It wasn't nice. I struggled, I shouted, I cried, you name it. It was not nice. Since then, I don't think I've ever been the same. I've always struggled. I'm constantly on and off steroids. Now, I was a big girl. I've always suffered with my weight. But obviously with having asthma I am constantly on and off steroids, so I'm piling on weight. I've tried doing loads of diets and, you know, I could lose a stone but then I pull it all back on, and it's just not a nice situation to be in. It's like a vicious circle constantly and it's draining, but I still keep fighting. So I'm going to fast forward now from 2009 to 2012. I met a guy, we were dating, then I fell pregnant, which I wasn't expecting at all, but it happened. It does happen. During being pregnant, I was constantly in and out of hospital then with my asthma, chest infections and something called hyperemesis, which is morning sickness, but constantly. So I was constantly dehydrated, I was on drips all the time. So that wasn't nice. Whole 9 months, constantly being sick, constantly in and out of hospital, constantly on steroids, antibiotics, which was quite worrying because I used to think, is my baby going to be okay? With me being on all these medications. The 23rd of November, I gave birth to Dominic. He was admitted onto neonatal with different infections. He was jaundice. Sorry, I'm so emotional. I myself was also really poorly after I had him. I had a chest infection, so I was in the same hospital as him, but we were on different wards. The day I went home from hospital, he had to stay in for an extra few days. I went home on a Friday, and then on the Saturday night, me and my partner and his children had gone out for some tea. And I wasn't feeling 100%. I felt really sickly and light and everything. I was really, really sensitive to light. That night I went home, I went to bed, and I woke up early hours in the morning screaming. Screaming with pain in my head. I was vomiting. I couldn't open my eyes. I was just in so much pain. I felt really, really hot. It just wasn't nice at all. Rang an ambulance, they came out. Went to A&E to be told that I had meningitis. I was in quite a bad way. The ward that I got rushed onto, they all know me because I'm always in that hospital, and they were shocked at how bad I was. I couldn't open my eyes. I had all my family stood around the bed and I couldn't see them. I could not open my eyes to see them. I had to have lumbar puncture in the bottom of my back to find out what it was, and obviously we found out it was meningitis. At this time, like, Dominic was still in Ormsgate Hospital and I was in Southport Hospital. He wasn't allowed to go home until I was allowed home. So 3 or 4 weeks I was in hospital with meningitis in a horrible room on a ward with, it was a side room and there was not one window in there. It was horrible, but because I was so sensitive to light, it was a good thing that I was in a dark room, but it was just very, very depressing. So I spent about 4 weeks in hospital, and then obviously when I was allowed home, we were allowed to bring Dominic home from Ormsgate Hospital. So we were finally home together. It was not nice. I have suffered with headaches since. I'm very sensitive to light. Like in this room, you can probably see me frowning and squinting. That's what I constantly do. I can't stand the light at all. As a lot of my friends know. I'm always like, turn the light off. So, now cut a long story short, my relationship was not what every girl would want. It was a very controlling relationship, to the point where I had no money. He had my bank card, he had all my money. I even moved away. We moved away as a couple, Dominic. from all my friends and family. I never really left the house unless I had doctor's appointments. And I ended up with bad depression. I have had depression in the past, obviously with swine flu and meningitis, but this was just to the point where I would sit in the kitchen and constantly be on my phone. I never left the house. I comfort it. But as months went by, I kept thinking to myself, I can't do this. I need my life back. But then I kept thinking about Dominic and my partner's children. And it kept holding me back and back and back for months. But then one day I woke up. I was going for a meal for my nan's birthday. And he said, what time are you back? So hang on a minute, I've just literally opened my eyes. Then it was, how much do you need? And I thought, I can't take this anymore. So I said, I can't do this. We need to end now. I can't carry on doing this. So we split. Then I was a single mum. Single mum to a little boy with health problems. And I thought to myself, I can't cope. I was petrified of being a single mum. But I knew I had to be strong for Dominic, more than my sake. So I did. I finally moved back to Southport, April last year, 2015. Back to my friends and family. When I moved back last year, one of my friends was doing Younique. And my eyelashes are awful. I hate my eyelashes. So I seen this 3D fibre lash. I was like, oh, what's this? So I bought it. And since then I've always bought Younique products. I've never really been into makeup, but this last year I have. So as months went by, came to January this year, and I was like, I need to be doing this. I need to be doing Younique. I sat on the fence from January till June. I had about 5 or 6 girls asking me to join their team. I narrowed it down to 1. And I picked Miss Jessica. Miss Jessica Sharrett, I love you lots. She is just amazing. Anyway, sorry. The 8th of June I joined. I'm now a Yellow Status presenter with a team of my own girls. I joined not for the money side. I joined to gain more confidence, to meet new people, and to hopefully inspire people. You know, you're only young once. You only live once. I've been through so much, and I'm only 28 years old. I want to be here to see my little boy grow up. I have dreams. I have dreams to go to New York. I have dreams to be able to run around after Dominic in a park. I've got dreams that I want to be successful. So that is why I joined Younique. The money side of it, yeah, that's extra. Extra money for new toys for Dominic, new clothes for Dominic. Everything I get from Younique goes towards Dominic. This house I'm in now, when I joined in June, I saved every penny I could to get this house. I seen this house in April, May, and I finally moved in August. No, yeah, the 26th of August I moved in. So it is my dream house. It is close to my mum. It's close to my friends. There's a garden for Dominic. He absolutely loves it. this company is life changing. I've seen it happen. I've watched videos. I've met people. I went to the MMC ball and there were so many girls in that room with all different stories on why they joined. We all have our reasons why we're joining. This is mine. I've told you now. I've told you about the last 7 years of my life. You know, I always worked up until that day when the doctor signed me off with asthma. And I still struggle now. I struggle, but I will not let anyone or anything get me down again. Younique is about all girls around the world coming together to uplift, empower and validate girls from around the world, even boys. Boys do it. It is amazing and it's life changing and it is changing my life. Just, if you're a single mum and you're out there and you're like struggling for money, this is what you need to be doing. You can work your own hours, you can work your hours around your family. I work my hours when Dominic's in nursery or at night time. I'll come and sit in this room, I'll write stuff down, I'll do Facebook Lives. For people to look at me, they probably think there's nothing wrong with her. She's just a big girl. But it's not. I have health problems. And not every health problem is visible. So if you're a single mum, if you have health problems, or if you just want to do this on the side, then I guarantee you it will change your life. If you put your all into it, it will change your life. So, I think that's my story on why I joined Younique. I've told you a bit about myself. Quite a lot. I am sorry for crying, but I had to put my story out there. We all have our different stories. I want to be able to be successful with this business and I want to inspire people. I want to, like I said, you know, be happy and healthy for my child, and I want to follow my dreams and I will follow those dreams. So if you have any questions about this business and what it can do for you, please do give me a message and I will definitely get back to you. I love you all. For people, friends, family who are watching, it was very hard for me to come on and actually share this properly. I have done a my why in the past, but it was only about 5-7 minutes long. Whereas this time I wrote it all down, 6 pages long. And yes, so I'm going to love you and leave you. Please don't cry watching this video. Like I did, I was writing it all last night, I was crying, and it's actually coming up to 7 years since I had swine flu. People always say, oh, you need to forget about that, but I'll never forget about it. My friends and family will never ever forget that time when I nearly didn't make it. It was such a horrible time, but I am grateful for still being here. So yes, please do like, comment, share this video and never give up on life, because you will pull through. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So yeah, I'm going to go. I love you all. Bye.